Hello and welcome to another Culture Corner here on the Serenity Resource Connector. Whether you're tuning in live or watching the replay, it is a pleasure to have you here. And I trust that you have been staying with us each month as we get into different aspects of the JCDC offerings, what it is that's happening across the different institutions and with the different individuals who have been a part of the JCDC family through the different competitions over the year. And for this particular forum, we are going to be zoning in on JCDC Festival Queen Projects. And for those of you who have been with us from the very start, you should know by now that this is near and dear to my heart. Right, but we're also going to be looking at culinary arts competition and some updates in that area. And just in case you missed the background of all of this, the Festival Queen competition, the culinary arts competition, you want to go back and check out the beginning of the playlist. We have a lot of information that was shared as to how all of this got started, the different processes in terms of entering these competitions, but we'll provide you with some tips and tricks as we go along as it relates to that. So thank you again for tuning in and make sure you subscribe, set your notification, and share with others so others can be aware of what's happening at the JCDC, not just at the national level, but in your parishes. So, to get the discussion going, let me bring on someone who is no stranger to the culture corner space. Welcome back, Michelle.
Hi, Winsome. Thank you so much, and good evening to all the viewers.
Awesome. So, Michelle is the acting director for marketing and public relations there at the Jamaica Cultural Development Commission, JCDC for short. All right. And for those who saw Michelle when she came on first, you would have learned that she's of Indian descent and she shared quite a bit about that part of the outer many. So if you missed that one, you want to go back and check it out. All right. So, Michelle, we're here to talk about Festival Queen
Yes, we
projects to
are.
be
Yes, we
specific.
are.
Right. So, myself, and I'm sure a lot of the viewers and others across the island will be wondering, why is it that our queens are required to carry out a project in the year of rain? Tell
Okay,
us how
sure.
that came about.
So to answer that question, I'm actually going to go all the way back to the not just to the Festival Queen program and what the foundation for that is, but to the start of the JCDC. And our mandate is to unearth, develop, and showcase the best of Jamaican talent and our people. And so that is part of how the foundation is set for Miss Jamaica Festival Queen. So the projects are embedded in the program from the outset. So this is actually not a new concept in any way, shape, or form. It's not a decade old. It's not 2 decades old. It's something that has been embedded in the program since inception, and so it's a core foundation on which it sits. All the young ladies who come through the program, they're mandated to be able to be active in their community and to be able to give back on a community level within their parishes. And should they become the Miss Jamaica Festival Queen, that project then becomes a national project that they would have to undertake. And so it is a way to enable the young women who are participating to have a platform to give back to their community. And it's a way of growing individually as well as professionally, as well as growing the community in which they are living and working and the space where they live. So that is the foundation of Festival Queen in terms of the project. So that's why it's important.
Amazing. And our ladies have been doing some phenomenal work in the terms of community development in different areas. What are
Yes.
some of the different projects in terms of the scope? that you have seen over the years?
So the projects have been as diverse as the young women who come into the program. We have had projects that have dealt with entrepreneurship. For instance, Dana Lynn Swaby, her project had to do with uh, providing young persons with skills for business planning and financial planning. That one was called Learn, Earn, Return at the time, and she was Miss Manchester at the time. There was also Miss Akira Gowie, who did a project based on environmentally friendly uh, items. So her project was called Eco Money, and it dealt with upcycling of non-biodegradable items so that they could be used as functional items and then sold in terms of generating an income for young persons. We have also had projects that have covered inspirational. We had Miss Kaisha Randall, who dealt with Motivate JA, that had to do with using performance and testimonials to motivate persons in a positive way. So we have run the range of project types. We have also had Dr. Dominique Reed, who completed her project, and that was in terms of providing oral care to young persons within our primary school systems across the island. So it has been as diverse, I said, as the young ladies themselves. It runs a full range.
Amazing, because we see where our young women are involved in so many different areas, and
Yes.
Lanisia will share as why it is that she chose the project that she chose, because for the JCDC Festival Queen, the beauty about it is that we are unique as individuals, and I think the projects actually allow each young lady to demonstrate their own uniqueness while making a phenomenal contribution to community development. Yeah.
That is correct. It allows them to show their individuality, their creativity, and to express their own interest in whatever area of development that they want to participate in. And so the program, the Festival Queen program, provides a platform for that to happen, to self-actualize something like that has an impact on young people or on people in general in their community and on the national level.
Awesome. So for our young ladies that are looking to participate in this year's competition, because each one going in with the expectation to become their parish queen. So
Yes.
they want to be thinking now what project they'd want to actually utilize the platform to execute during their year of reign. So
That's
they want to
correct.
be going thinking about that. So as it relates to that, each festival queen, parish as well as national, are required to execute a project. Tell us a little more about that.
That's correct. So upon entry, a part of that process is the submission of your concept document for what your project proposal will be. And so that is part of your application process. Once you are selected as your parish queen, then that project now then gets pulled from the hat, and it then gets actualized, it executed in terms of sponsorship, if doing all the coordination to make that project happen on the ground in each parish. So that has actually been something that would have been underway from last year into this year for all the parish queens for 2022. And so those have been going on since then. So they would have launched their projects and been executing in the different parishes. Coming up shortly, we have this Saturday is the National Queen, Miss Veronique Bowen will be launching her own project, and that is about creating opportunities for youth in terms of getting employment through different types of workshop sessions and training sessions. So it starts at the parish level and it goes all the way up to national. So yes, so each parish queen has to execute her project, and then at the national level, the national queen executes her project.
Awesome. And as we talked about the diversity of the different projects over the years, I want to highlight this one out of Clarendon. Given that we are in Mental Health Awareness Month, one of our past queens would have started a program. It's still going, looking at mental health awareness. And I think that is very powerful. And we're hoping to get her in this space to share more on that at some point. All right. That's Kimon Rose,
Yes.
I believe. Right. And that's the thing, the kind of impact and the thought that goes into these different projects. So it's no short term. It's actually issues, concerns that are near and dear to each individual, and they're able
Yes.
to utilize the JCDC Festival Queen platform to execute something that they might have seen as maybe out of their reach without the added resources.
And I would like to highlight that all the projects are very relevant, not just to the year or to the time in which the queen or queens are executing their projects, but as you pointed out, that particular one that deals with mental health awareness, that has cycled through now to being such a very topical issue, and persons are being so aware of it. We have had a queen that has focused on how to use dance and movement to help cope with mental health issues and so on. So it is always relevant, not just at the time of execution, but going forward, it is always relevant. So that's also a component of how the projects are effected and handled.
Awesome. Welcome to Shauna. Thanks for joining us all the way from over in the East. Thank you. Always supporting Lanisia and the others. It's great to have you. Be sure to share so the other young ladies who might not be so sure whether or not they want to be a part of the Festival Queen, they get some inspiration as to what are the benefits of being a part of the Festival Queen competition. Really awesome, right? For the mental health aspect of it, I remember when that particular project started, and maybe the others, it wasn't so topical that time, so it was like breaking through the ice.
Yes.
So right, so that is something that we have to applaud the queens on taking that position and moving forward despite the challenges at the time.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Right.
And the queens, the current, the 2023, we are searching for our 2023 queens for our parishes and for Jamaica. So that's happening in the parishes all of this month. We are going to be sashing our young ladies and getting them ready for June for their parish coronation show, for their parish coronation.
Awesome. All right. So any final share before we close this segment and bring on our fifth highlighted project for this segment?
Well, just to say that the competition is very relevant. The young ladies are, like I said before, as diverse as the projects are as diverse as the young ladies themselves. It affords them an opportunity and a platform to share and to show who they are and to showcase their talent. And to be able to really make a significant contribution to their community, to their parish, and to Jamaica in general. So we are really looking forward to this year's 2023 Queens. Yes.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much, Michelle. Always great to have you share here on the Culture Corner.
Thank you.
Connector. All right, see you in a little bit. Let's make way for Lanisia. Welcome back, Lanisia.
Hi, Winsome. Thank you for having me here again. It's great to always share with you.
Always a pleasure. So, Lanisia wears so many hats, but she's here this evening in the capacity of the JCDC Miss Manchester Festival Queen for 2009. Can you believe it? Almost 14 years.
I know. Can hardly believe time flies.
Yes. And you have been having a lot of fun while the time has been going by. Right.
Well,
So,
yeah,
yes.
the truth is, it's because of this competition why I do what I do right now. So, I'm very
Awesome.
grateful for it. It really created a platform for me for my career and, helped me to discover my purpose also.
Right, interesting. And your project is about helping others to discover their purpose
Yes.
through different avenues, right? So Lanisia is also the founder and executive director for Young Women and Men of Purpose, YWOP and YMOP for short. And you can check her out across social media platforms, some awesome work she has been doing. But let's take it from the start. 2009. What was your vision at the time?
Well, as was mentioned before, part of the requirement for entering the competition is that you needed to be involved in your community. And so I was involved in my community, I mean, through Rotaract and, through my church. But when I saw that, oh, I needed to have my own community service project, at the time, I was an instructor with Heart Trust NPA in Junction. And I was already mentoring the young ladies in my class. And so when I thought about a project, I'm like, maybe I could do like a big sister program where I could make official the mentorship and support that I was giving to the female students in the class. But then I spoke with someone and it was, big sister was too cliche. So I had to really sit down and to think about it. And when I thought about what I was doing and what I wanted to do, the idea came that, it's really helping these young women to become young women of purpose. And basically, that's how the name came about, Young Women of Purpose. And then I like the acronym that it formed, YWOP. And basically, the idea was to really help young women who were facing different challenges to get past those challenges by just talking with someone who could listen to them and also to provide guidance, especially in the area of their career. One of the things that stood out to me while being an instructor with Heart was that quite a number of these young women who were in my class at the time, they experienced several challenges. Some of them encountered teenage pregnancy and so fell out of high school. And now they were at heart trying, for some of them, not all, but for some, trying to get a second chance, or for their education. And so basically, I wanted to help them. Many of them did not have parents that they could speak to guide them and to help them to choose or to achieve their career goals. And in the school system, unfortunately, there aren't enough career advisors or career counselors who can spend that one on one time with students to really guide them and help them to achieve their career goals. So it was all of that that came to me. And I decided that that is the angle that I wanted to take my project in terms of really providing that guidance and support to young women to help them to achieve their career goals in spite of the challenges that they have. So that's how it came about. I mean, we have evolved now, so we are young women and men, and I can tell you about that a little later.
In, Indeed, and it is interesting that you mentioned the limited resources as it relates to guidance with career planning. I
Yeah.
was on a forum with our youth leaders in the parish of Clarendon since week, and that was one of the areas that actually came up. A lot of our young people have no idea why they're here,
Mm-hmm.
and not just young people, but a lot of us are not so sure why we are here, and so it creates this kind of confusion, and we're not so sure if we make it's worth being here. So that kind of guidance and support is really important.
Right.
Yes. And as we've shared, it's almost 14 years, and quite naturally, there has been a lot of transitioning over the years.
Yes.
So take us along that as to how you decided and why you decided to continue with the project and what were some of the changes that you made.
Right. So for me, when I launched my project, I had a full-time job. And so we started out with our what is now called our flagship mentoring program. That's how we really started. And we were having mentoring sessions with the young women in the program twice per month, every second Tuesday and every last Saturday. And part of the reason it was the same session that was repeated because we found that quite a number of our mentees as well as the volunteers, and I'll touch on that, how we got volunteers in a minute, were Seventh-day Adventists too. And so we didn't want them to miss out. For those who were Adventists and couldn't come on the Saturdays, we didn't want them to miss out, and so we had it in the second Tuesday evening. But then also for those who could not make it in the evenings, because this is now being held after school, after work, we wanted to have that space for them to come on Saturdays. And basically, that's how we started out with the 2 sessions every month. And we also paired the mentees with mentors. And the goal of it was, as I said, to really help them to have sessions to help them to discover who they are and also to help them to figure out the career path that they wanted to pursue and to get them there. And so that's how we started out. I didn't do it alone. So even though I was a festival queen, I had support from even my fellow contestants. So I remember one of the second runner-up, Miss Ruth Christian. She was she played a very instrumental role in my project. She saw what I was about. I remember we met one day and I was telling her, my plans for my project, and she volunteered to be a part of it. Not only that, one of my trainers, I won't ever forget, my public speaking trainer, Miss Noreen Daly, she also saw the brochure and the information about the project, and then she wanted to be a part of it. And she also invited other persons to be a part of it. And so really and truly, I had that support from the early days of volunteers who helped to make the project successful. And so by the time 1 year had passed, based on the impact that the project had created among the mentees or the beneficiaries, and also just the support from persons who volunteered to be a part of the project, I decided that, this is something that I want to continue. In fact, I had that confirmation for myself that, this is my purpose. When I heard the feedback from just mentees, especially my very first mentee, who wrote me a letter, sharing how impactful just being her mentor has been for her life. I mean, it brought me to tears, and it really confirmed that maybe this is something that I'm called to do. And that was the decision I made to continue this project. Males were also coming to us at the time to say, what about us? We were focused on females, but they wanted something for males. And so the decision was made that not only are we going to continue Young Women of Purpose, but we're going to extend it to include male. And so the name changed from Young Women of Purpose to Young Women and Men of Purpose. And we decided to become a registered nonprofit organization in Jamaica so that we could carry on the work that had started as my Festival Queen project, and then get support from corporate Jamaica, corporate foundations, and also seed grant funding to carry out the work that we were doing. So basically, that is how it really evolved. Just a quick point though, so one of the reasons why the project evolved and people were able to gravitate and come on board, I mentioned person saw the brochure. So one of my very dear friends, Charlene Mohan, when the idea came and I spoke to her about it, she created a logo for the project. And she also created the brochure. I had written a plan for the project, by the way, and she created the brochure. And so I was able to give this to people and to persons who were interested in learning more about it. And that is how persons actually were recruited to become volunteers. And they were able to share the message with other persons.
That's the beauty about walking in purpose. It galvanizes support from all different angles because it's interesting how others are able to see the vision without you even having to speak it. it just becomes obvious. And a number of the queens who have been in this space have shared about the power of that sisterhood, the bond that are established among those, even those ladies, remember, all vying for the crown. There's only one crown, but even after the competition, there's this support that goes into helping the reigning queen, because even when the reigning queen is not able to carry out some of the functions, the others will step up and be a part of it. So there's room for all to shine. All right, some awesome comments coming in here. Beautiful, really impactful and changing lives, not just the lives of the queens, but the lives of so many people around them. All right, so let's transition into the nonprofit organization, because I'm sure a number of our past queens didn't even think along that line as to how they can make their project sustainable so they can continue to create impact. So share with us now what was just a highlight of the process in terms of getting to that stage, some of the things to consider, and then we can transition into the other area in terms of the social enterprise aspect. All right.
Okay. Right. So, I mean, I was an entrepreneurship instructor, by the way. So I was familiar, basic information or theoretically with the registration process in Jamaica. And I was also an entrepreneur myself. So I would have done that. And so I would have learned about just registering a nonprofit organization, and also the benefits of registering in terms of being able to seek grant funding for projects or programs, and to seek support from corporate Jamaica, and basically to be involved in workshops or programs that can provide capacity building if you want to go into that area. So that was the thought behind becoming registered, because no longer did I see this as my community service, just my community service project. I now saw it as an organization that was creating impact. And so in order to continue that impact, structure had to be in place. So the registration was done. Back then, it was with the Companies Office of Jamaica as a nonprofit organization, and started to document everything too, in terms of just the structure, a system, in terms of the volunteers' role, responsibility. So this is very, very important if you want to create a project or an organization that will become sustainable. You must have these systems or structures in place. And the truth is too, people are attracted to structure. So I didn't go out there and literally recruit anybody. People always came up because they saw what we were doing, or they saw a flyer, they saw a brochure about the work that we were doing. After being registered in 2012, because of the network that I was involved with, we got an email inviting us to apply for grant funding from UN Habitat. And there was a project that I had created or written in the past for another program that I was a part of. And I decided to work with one of my volunteers to tweak the project, and it became the Youth Entrepreneurship Project. And we submitted it. We've never had grant funding, and we submitted it to the UN Habitat, and lo and behold, we were successful. And we received a grant of almost 20,000 US dollars, which would have been, a big deal for us at the time, and still is, as a nonprofit organization to execute or to implement the Youth Entrepreneurship Program. And I think too, what that did for us, it confirmed our relevance in terms of the work that we were doing. And it also gave us that push to say, if we can actually impact lives in this means, especially young people, especially in central Jamaica, in Manchester, where we were based, then it means that, we can continue on this path. And not only over the years, what has also happened is that because of the work that we have done, because of the support that we have received, just by being formal, I've now gotten to a point where no longer am I just focused on my organization, but I want to help other people to do what I have done I want to share my experience. I want to provide guidance to others, especially youth-led organizations, because I think that there is so much that young people can do to really impact lives in Jamaica. But most times, the projects or the organizations, they're not sustainable because they would not know how to become sustainable. They don't know that, if you simply make a plan, have things written down, then it makes such a huge difference in terms of your sustainability. And so to wrap up, um, in terms of this question, that first funding that we had, because the project was executed so well, it was managed by the project coordinator, Shamoy Hajari Oval. And in fact, I was not even in the country when the project was being executed. And at the time, our president was Ruth Christian. But the project was executed so well. And because of that, we were able to, since then, gain or attract additional funding from numerous agencies and organizations every year since 2012 because of the work that we've done. And we've also been able to develop our entrepreneurship program, which has now become a staple in the organization, and also execute other capacity building programs and outreach activities, just because we took the steps to become formalized, to create the structure, to put them in place, to have our meetings. And one of the things I laugh about now is that before COVID, our team meetings were being held online on Zoom. And so we were accustomed to remote working even before COVID in the organization. And these are the things that had contributed or have contributed to our sustainability as a nonprofit organization, especially a youth-led one here in Jamaica.
Amazing. And Sandra is congratulating YWOP, no, YMOP. And just to share with our viewers that the project started in Manchester, but you're no longer just serving Manchester, you are now serving the island of Jamaica,
Yes, we are.
especially where the entrepreneurship
Yes.
component
So
is concerned. Yes.
yes, so our entrepreneurship program, even our mentoring program, it is done virtually now since COVID. And because of that, we are reaching young people right across Jamaica. We also offer scholarships yearly. They're going to be launched next week. So look out for that if you're online. But even our scholarship program, our scholars are from all over Jamaica also, So we're very grateful. I am very grateful that this small project has been sustained. Um, you know, um, because of God's grace, we've been able to really expand. The right persons have become a part of the team in terms of volunteer. Now we have staff, right? Because of partnerships with different organizations and even just the funders especially our first funder who took that chance with us to give us with no experience, that funding to actually execute our program. And because of our track record and reputation and a success and the impact that we've created, we have been able to get to this point. Also, another critical element of our success is our media partners. My personal mantra is that I do what I do because of the impact that I want to create, not necessarily not to seek attention or to put myself out there, but it is also very important as an organization, if you want to grow, if you want to attract the funding, that funders, they want to know that you are highlighting, the support that they have given to you. And so it's very important to partner with the media. And we have been blessed to have had the support of the media over the years for every single project that we have done in the country. And that has added to just building our reputation as an organization and highlighting some of the work that we've done and also highlighting the beneficiaries. Quite a number of them have also benefited just from having their stories shared publicly. And so all of those elements have come together to contribute to the reason why we're still here as a sustainable nonprofit operating across Jamaica.
Amazing. All right. And this is like a full-time job. based on all that you've been sharing. And I'm sure a number of my young people are saying, all right, Lanisia, we've heard all of that. And it's important to create impact and all of that. But the bills still need to be paid. So how
Yes.
do we pay the bills?
Right.
By doing all of this while we create that kind of impact.
Right. So the truth is, this is something that this is an area, especially as it relates to the organization, that I'm still learning about and I'm still working on. Because many people probably would not believe, but the organization has been predominantly a volunteer-based organization. So even when I started, I had a job, I had a business, right? So I was always doing something else. And it wasn't until years after, in fact, a few years ago, that I recognized and realized, but no, if I'm doing this and this is what I love, this is what I'm passionate about, I could do this full time, right? After being exposed to different workshops and training and conferences in Jamaica and even overseas, I realized that there were many nonprofit organizations that people are employed, they're getting decent salaries, right, to work it full time. And so my mindset shifted, and since I recognize that, that is an area that I've actually been working on, or we've been working as a team, because I do have, I mean, the executive body and team members who help to, write programs, identify funding, and so forth. And so, as I said, it's a work in progress. One of the things that we've been able to do is to partner with an organization that paid four of my staff members, right? And so that's how we actually got to employ some persons who, probably would have been volunteering in the organization. We still have volunteers though, and volunteers do get a stipend where necessary from projects, right? But project funding is, Winsome, you would know, it's a different type of funding, but we try to remunerate persons as best as possible once it permits. Currently, we are now looking for funding to support the operation of the organization so that we can even become more sustainable or sustainable financially. Not that we won't look for grant funding, but we want to be able to execute our programs on our own. And so we have shifted just the way we work. No longer are we just focused on offering programs or projects freely to beneficiaries, but we will always offer programs and projects to those who may not be able to afford it. But we are also offering consultations and programs and support to persons who are able to pay for it, or to pay for it for particular groups of persons, so that while we're creating impact, my team can be fed, I can be fed, and we can be taken care of. Um, on a more personal note, in terms of how I've been able to manage, so because of the experiences that I've had just um, creating and sustaining or leading this organization, so many doors of opportunities have opened for me locally and internationally. I always share with young people that, I had a dream when I was young of traveling the world, and I thought I was going to do that through working in the hospitality industry, because that's what my first degree was in. But that didn't happen. But I've traveled to over 16 countries, free of cost for the most part, because of the work of this organization. So I've been able to participate in accelerator and incubator programs internationally, where I've been able to learn best practices from persons who are creating impact, but still making a profit to take care of themselves. And so I am using those skills, the knowledge that I've developed, to really implement in this organization. I also offer consultancy. So I've later or now set up an official consultancy firm where I now help other persons to set up their own nonprofit, to write project proposals, to create their strategic plan for their organization. And so that also provides income so that, we can take care of ourselves. So that is where we are at. Recently, too, we started a social enterprise within the organization, which is an online career development platform. And we sell the services there. So we offer workshops to schools, and we also offer a subscription model. And so when we collect funds from those activities, the profits actually go into the nonprofit so that we can sustain ourselves. So that generally is the funding model that we have been using.
All right. We have a few minutes left, but we want to quickly, for those who are wondering, what is a social enterprise?
Mhm.
The
Okay, so
quick definition.
okay. All right. So a social enterprise, it is a business first and foremost that has been created to create impact. So it has a social mission, meaning it must be creating some sort of impact within the community for other persons. As I mentioned, it is a business, so it generates revenue and it makes profit. However, when you generate profit, the profits do not go into the pockets of the leaders of the organization. But and this doesn't mean that you don't get paid. Remember, the pay, your salary is taken out before the profit. So what is left after all your expenses, salaries are taken out, that profit goes back into the community that the organization operates in or into the organization so that more impact can be created. So basically a social enterprise, it looks into, supporting people, it supports the planet, but it also makes profit.
And that's part of the sustainability model,
Yes.
because a lot of great projects are stalled because of the inability to sustain what's happening. Great projects, impact, but so many things that are missing. So we have to consider all the elements. I'm I'm going to make a passionate plea to those who are viewing. Please to share this. There's so many things that Lanisia shared that our young people, and not just young people, the young at heart can learn so much from, in terms of the platform for the Festival Queen, in terms of how you encourage others, our organization and resource here where they can reach out to get support in these different areas. Look out for the scholarship opportunities that are coming up and take advantage of them. So go ahead and connect with YWOP, YMOP on the different social media platforms so you don't miss the share and just circulate in your communities. Because this is why we do what we do, right? We show up, and it's really powerful how we're able to get buy-in, because when others are able to see the mission, the vision, and the impact that it can create, they want to be a part of the awesome mission that is bigger than the individuals. And that's how we really ought to see it. All right. So Lanisia, in the next 2 minutes, share with our young people, especially those who are looking to be a part of the Festival Queen competition, or maybe past queens who have those projects that they just need to dust off and revisit and go again. Share some words of inspiration in addition to what you have already shared with them.
Okay. Right. So if you are a young lady who is looking to enter in this competition, I'd encourage you to enter, take advantage of the platform that is provided to really help you to create an impact in your community. If you're thinking about a project, and even if you're not thinking about entering the competition, but you want to create impact in your community, in the country, in the world, and you're thinking about a project idea, first thing that I would encourage you to do is to make a note of that idea, write it down. It doesn't have to be a perfect business plan, but you can get started by writing it down. And think about it. What is it that you want to do? You can look around you to see the problem, identify real problems. What problems exist in your community, in your surrounding? What are people always complaining about that they're not getting? Do you have the skills and expertise to solve that? Can you partner with others to do so? And then create a solution based on that. Once you've done that, as I said, just make notes, make notes. If it is that you've written everything down and you can't put it together in a proper plan, get somebody to help you. My friend helps me with the logo and the brochure. So get somebody to help you. And once you have everything documented, then get started. Partner with persons. Ask a school, maybe your old school, can you use their classroom to host a session if it is that you're going to have sessions with persons? If you're doing it online, then get started. The key thing is that if you don't get started, then you will not start creating the impact that you've thought about. So get started. And once you get started, get support. There are a lot of people out there who want to help others. They don't necessarily want to recreate the wheel, So get support, start with your friends and families, and just execute and carry out the work that you're doing. Focus on the impact. So do not be caught up too much in, the publicity and the social media. This is important, but it comes after. Create real impact, and you will be surprised to see how even other people will promote the work that you're doing, and you don't have to do it yourself. And this is how you're going to change lives and change persons within your community. And then partner with persons. Again, you cannot do it alone. So from the get-go, think about the sustainability. How are you going to finance this project? How are you going to keep the programs going? Can you offer a part of it for free, but then sell something else to those who are willing to pay, so that you can balance and generate revenue to sustain the program, but also to sustain yourself if you're looking to do what you're doing full time. Ensure that you get registered, because it is in the registration that you're opening up doors for yourself to access funding both locally and international. Most international agencies want to know that you are registered in your country as a charity. So ensure that you follow that process and get yourself registered as a nonprofit organization in Jamaica. And ensure that you're keeping proper records. Document what you do, document your programs and your projects, and also document in terms of your spending, because this is going to be important to your funders, and also for you to continuously attract or get funding to support the work that you are doing. And share what you're doing, share the stories of the beneficiaries, share the impact that has been created. You can do so freely on social media, or you can also create a website for your organization. And remember to always say thank you to the persons who supported you, whether they are funders, whether they are your volunteers or team members. Always show gratitude, because this will help in terms of just your sustainability, and just providing that opportunity for you to grow and even create more impact. They will help you if they realize that you're passionate about what you're doing, you're genuine, you're authentic, care more about the impact, and you show gratitude. So, or this is what I would say to those who want to go into this area of work.
Amazing. I'm wondering if you're all getting it, because you just got a little master class in business. Oh, Lanisia, thank you so much. Yes, Melissa is saying that she's proud of you and the impact you have made. Right. We are all proud of you, and I'm sure those who are connecting, and even if they didn't know you before, they're feeling really proud, especially as Jamaicans, to know that we have a Jamaican who is making waves, not for just for the feel and the likes, but to make meaningful impact, changing lives one day at a time. Lanisia, thank you so much. Always a pleasure sharing space with you, whether virtual or in person. And I'm sure we'll be doing more of this as we continue. All right. Thank you so much.
And thank
All
you so much,
right.
Winsome. Sorry.
Awesome. All right. That was Lanisia Rhoden, Miss JCDC Manchester Festival Queen 2009. Continue to make waves with our project that was started 2009, almost 14 years ago. And it is growing from strength to strength. Right. So Lanisia makes way for Commissioner Nancy McLean, Chairperson for the Culinary Arts Competition Committee. Commissioner McLean, welcome.
Yes, thank you for having me. Good evening. Good evening to all the listeners and viewers.
So great. And I'm sure a number of people are wondering, Commissioner, or what is Commissioner McLean? All right. So remember, it's the Jamaica Cultural Development Commission. So the commissions are operated under the guidance of commissioners who, who operate in different areas based on their area of expertise. Am I right, Commissioner McLean?
That's correct. That's correct. And hence, I am associated with the culinary arts. Apart from other aspects, a lot of folks who are viewing or listening would really know my background from the hospitality industry, and I train and so I still plan events and functions and what have you. So I'm
Awesome.
still involved, I'm still in it. Hence, I'm the chair of the Culinary Arts Committee.
All right, fantastic. So, what awesome stuff the JCDC cooking up on the culinary art competition for
Well,
2023.
you use that correct word, awesome, because as I speak just now, Jane Jerry, who is the culinary arts specialist, is all the way in the western end at SAB preparing for the first competition tomorrow. Let me tell you, the competitions, let me first go through the categories that will be showcasing the competitors will be involved in, and that we
Right
have
ahead.
the categories like an A, this batters and doughs, category B, weddings and celebration cakes, and you have knife skills. Now, you've got to see them prepare, do the knife skills. It's almost like how they would turn potatoes and various vegetables and so forth. And then there's also the category for recipe writing, and another category for preserves and condiments, another category for wines. Yes, wines and liqueurs. Always remember, we have a lot of seasonal fruits and vegetables. And these seasonal fruits and vegetables, we can use them to make preserves and what have you, and wines and, liqueurs. And then there's also a team challenge, and that is very, 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 what should I say, a very interesting. If you go to watch them at the competitions to see how the teams perform together. And there's also another mystery basket, and that's an individual competition. Now, I know if you watch the food channels, you will definitely see when they have the mystery baskets, and it's a very, very interesting exercise or competition, because it's mystery, as it says. It speaks. You don't know exactly what is in that basket. The main items that you're going to use to prepare your dishes. So the competition starts tomorrow, and in the western end, May 5th, tomorrow, at the Sean Lavery Faith Hall in South. On next week, Friday, May 12th, it proposes to be in the northern side of the island, and that will be at the Anglican Church Hall in Port Maria, St. Mary. On the 19th of May, they're all on Fridays coming down, the Anglican Church Hall in Manchester. And the Eastern competition, of course, will be right here at UTech, the University of Technology here. And I'm encouraging all of you to go out and support these competitors. They're competing. And even after they compete and they're judged, it's very important for you to go out and see what they're doing. Remember, we're here to unearth, develop, and showcase the best that Jamaica has. And so this year, they're using the coconut. The coconut, as you know, is a fruit. And the coconut can be used in so many different ways. Not just the coconut to make rice and peas, to grate it and make rice. Not only that, toppings. It can be used in so many ways, as on top of flakes to complete your desserts, in salads. And I don't want to give away too many things because it's a competition. And therefore, the competitors ought to research by now and know what they're doing. But the fruit that is used and highlighted is the coconut. So come out and see how they're going to be doing in their batters and doughs, the wedding cakes. And you must see, last year you should see the the the, the decorated cakes. The cakes were just very beautiful. It was last year at the Ranny Williams, and it was quite an interesting event. But this year we've gone back to the respective areas, and the western, the northern, the central, and the eastern. And so I know that Miss Jerry, Jane Jerry, the culinary specialist, is up to her neck. She's out there in SAP preparing. I spoke with her this evening, getting ready. So all of you out there in the western end, please go out tomorrow and support the culinary arts competition. It is our national culinary arts competition.
Well said. And Jane Jerry graced this space last year, and she cooked up a storm. Showed us a simple way of preparing a really nutritious meal. And
She's
we are hoping
excellent
to
at
have
that.
more of that.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Because one of the things that I really admire about her, she likes to experiment. And she likes
Yes.
to showcase how you do new things, using what you use at home in the regular traditional way. She takes it to another level.
Indeed. That's
And that's why
amazing.
it's called the culinary arts.
Ah, that's right. It's an art.
Absolutely. Yes, it is. It is. It is.
Amazing. And
Yes.
this year should be interesting for those of us who love coconut, like myself.
We all love coconut. And as a matter of fact, we all grew up, uh, well, I'm dating, of course, going back, but they're using too many the ready-made stuff now. But in my day, that you sit around and then the coconut was there to be grated, and you would assist in grating it. You'll be eating your fair
Okay.
share.
I don't know about the grating part. It'll be assisting, all right.
Because no, you just open the powder is there. You do everything and so forth. But the rice and peas. Let me be honest with you. That rice and peas that
It's
is
different.
made with the coconut juice, that coconut that is grated, not even put in the blender or any food thing. It grated when you use your hand and grate it, and you make that juice. That rice and peas that is made with that coconut milk. I'm being honest. You don't have to have any other protein.
That's
The,
right.
the peas are protein in there already. The rice that you can just have it as a meal.
Yes, indeed. All right. This is Jamaica or Jamaica.
Absolutely.
Amazing. It's great to have you, Commissioner McLean, sharing vibrancy and the
It's my
that area
pleasure.
suits you well. Culinary arts.
Yes, it's
Amazing.
my
Thank you
pleasure.
so
Always.
much
Yes.
for sharing space with us here on the Serenity Resource Connector. All right. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, and thanks for having me.
Pleasure. Pleasure. All right. So there you have it. We've learned more about the JCDC Festival Queen Projects and the Culinary Arts Competition for this year, where the different activities are going to be taking place. And just in case you joined us after we started, you want to go back and zone in on our festival queen, Lanisia Rhoden, as she shared so much about our project and how it has transitioned over the years. Thank you, as always, for joining us, whether live or watching the replay. And remember to subscribe, set your notifications, share, and remember to leave your comment. So, because there's always something that someone else might not have seen that you are able to pick up. So, leave your comment on the YouTube page and look out for the promotion when the competition goes live for the YWOP, YMOP, all right, and the other JCDC competitions. Thank you again, and we do this same time each Thursday here on the Serenity Resource Connector. And you want to join us on second Thursday as we get an update from the Community Safety and Security branches in Area 3, Clarendon, Manchester, and St. Elizabeth. All right, you continue to stay safe, and we see you next time.